Right now at 5, organizations gather in protest outside Pittsburgh's new Planned Parenthood clinic.
And we've got another pretty cool start to the day, but another hot one out there. Temperatures close to 90. A look at that forecast. Get you out the door coming up.
Plus, the Pittsburgh City Commission discusses proposed ordinances related to the homeless community.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is Wednesday here in the 4 states. We are halfway through the work week. And of course, one thing though, it's first on just about everybody's mind. Also, 23 years ago today was September 11th. Now, I was a freshman in high school when it happened. So I remember, just watching for 2 weeks straight. That's all we did was watch the coverage. And still you don't ever want to forget.
No,
that's the whole thing.
Never forget.
Always remember, and that's what I know a lot of folks will be doing today. I know there's a number of ceremonies taking place today, and it's going to be a little bit hot out there. So if you are participating in a memorial or you're going to one, just do be prepared, be hydrated while you're out there. But this morning, it is another pretty decent start. At least we're going to start with a look outside from our camera, downtown Pittsburgh. Looking pretty good. We've got clear skies out there. Now, eventually, we'll see a few more clouds as we head later into the afternoon. So our camera at 7th and Rangeline in Joplin looking good as well so far this morning. And we'll head down south to the MoDOT camera, 20th and Rangeline. And just as a heads up, right now it's not a big deal, but you can see this is at, I believe this is 15th, no, my apologies. This is 17th and Rangeline. The traffic signal there, it's in flash mode. I'm sure it'll be taken care of before the main morning rush, but in case it's not a problem at this time of day, but when traffic really starts to pile up, just make sure you're paying attention, and it's a 4-way stop until they get it back online. All right, fog tracker. We talked about it yesterday. We've got that fog still around the Grand Lake area once again out there. So we've got reduced visibilities, northern Delaware County, southern Ottawa County, and stretching into the far western portions of McDonald County. So if you're traveling parts of I-44, 60, 69, just be prepared to slow down. Watch out for some of that patchy fog. Future track heading into the afternoon. Again, we'll start to see a few clouds. Now, Future Track here is painting a few isolated showers. I do not believe we're going to actually see any rain today, but we still have Francine out there, and we'll talk about what kind of impact it may or may not have on us. In Joplin, it is 67, so we are much warmer this morning. 55 in Pittsburgh. We're sitting about 10, 12 degrees warmer this morning. We were this time yesterday for most of us. Still some low to mid 50s, and then we've got mid and even upper 60s in some cases across the area as temperatures continue to warm out there. Kids getting on the bus this morning. Again, it'll be a little warmer, low 60s. Southeast breeze around 5 to 10. Sunny skies, and we'll have a few clouds by this afternoon and considerably warmer, about 88 degrees when that bus brings them home. Highs today, about 90. We should be in the mid 80s, so we'll be anywhere from 5 to 7 degrees above normal. Some of you may get into the low 90s today as well. This is going to be one of the hotter days we have, but we're still going to be above normal as we head into the weekend, and we've still got Francine churning out there. We'll have the latest on all of that in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All righty, Chris, thanks. Well, authorities in Joplin say a woman is dead following an overnight crash on I-44. It happened around 3 yesterday morning near mile marker 6.2. According to the Missouri State Highway Patrol's crash report, the driver, 22-year-old Jessica Chapman of Joplin, was driving east when she went off the road, hit a guardrail, and overturned. She died at the scene. Authorities in Jasper County have arrested a suspect in the deaths of 8 puppies found in a plastic tote outside the Joplin Humane Society. The Humane Society officials say the tote was discovered this past weekend in a spot where it was not easily seen. All of the puppies were found dead inside. Now, the sheriff's office says a suspect is in custody, though official charges are pending. Authorities also have a person of interest in this case who was arrested for outstanding warrants. Well, Parsons, Kansas police arrest a man in a kidnapping case. Authorities on Sunday responded to a robbery at a room at the Canterbury Inn, where they say a suspect with a yellow bandana and an AR-style rifle kidnapped a woman and stole nearly $500 and a set of car keys. They say the suspect was later found at a home on Deer Street, where the victim was rescued. Official charges have not yet been filed. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. The Pittsburgh City Commission is discussing cracking down on people who take shopping carts from grocery stores and rummage through trash bins. KOAM's Melissa Alexis spoke to community members about their perspective.
It's a quality of life issue.
An ordinance could make taking shopping carts off the premises of a store illegal. The director of community development for the city of Pittsburgh says the frequency of shopping cart theft is an issue.
We found that it's more frequent than we'd like, and it's also really difficult for the retailers to recoup that cost. Shopping carts are really expensive.
The city of Pittsburgh is also considering making it illegal to go through trash bins that are not your own without permission.
Others are coming behind them and digging through, leaving trash out. That's blowing down the streets, it's blowing down our alleys. There's paper, there's cardboard, there's furniture, there's household goods.
As a business owner, would come to my shop and I'd find trash all over the yard, and it's because somebody was scrounging through the dumpster.
Community member Roger Lomschek says many people pushing the carts are unhoused.
We've got homeless people who use the shopping carts as a means of carrying around stolen goods, and the carts themselves are stolen.
Mandy Yance, who frequents the Wesley House, says making it illegal to take things from trash bins and selling them would eliminate a way for the unhoused to make money. She also believes making it illegal to take shopping carts away from a store premises would make things more difficult for the unhoused.
They need the shopping carts to carry their stuff from point A to point B. How are they supposed to get it from point A to point B without something to carry it in?
Froman, Director of Community Development and Housing, says both ordinances are related to keeping the city of Pittsburgh clean and addressing concerns from stores that had their shopping carts stolen. Reporting in Pittsburgh, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
The commissioners passed both ordinances on first reading last night. Pro-life organizations gathered yesterday outside the new Planned Parenthood clinic in Pittsburgh to express their views. These organizations included Operation Rescue and Students for Life of America. Organizers say they want to bring attention to the new facility and the fact that abortions are performed there. They say they're also concerned about the center's proximity to Pittsburgh State University and the states of Missouri, Arkansas, and Oklahoma, which have more restrictive abortion laws.
We want to save babies from abortion. We want women to have productive lives that include their children. We believe that women can be productive and successful and live very fulfilled lives with their children at their side instead of their children being tossed away like they're trash.
In a statement to KOAM, a spokesperson for Planned Parenthood called the event a, quote, unnecessary disruption to the patients who come to Planned Parenthood for essential, comprehensive sexual and reproductive health care services. Missouri's Supreme Court yesterday ruled an amendment to restore abortion rights in the state can stay on the November ballot. Amendment 3 aims to make abortion rights a part of the state's constitution. Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft has removed the measure from the ballot following a county circuit judge's ruling in a case claiming the petition to add it misled voters by not informing them of all the abortion laws it would repeal. The state's highest court disagreed and says Ashcroft must ensure the measure is on the ballot. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Missouri Southern Athletics announces its 2024 Hall of Fame class. We'll have the details. Plus, Pope Francis wraps up his visit to the Southeast Asian nation of East Timor with a public mass. And we have a hot and sunny day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
Well, the race for the Central Ozark Conference title is going to be especially tough in softball. We're just a couple of weeks into the 2024 season, and several of our local teams are off to a great start. Monday, we saw defending champion Neosho shut out Seneca. Carthage softball enters the day undefeated. Tigers at home taking on COC foe Kickapoo. Carthage down 2-0 in the third. Ashlyn Brust hits a line drive in the left field. That brings the first Tiger run of the game across the plate. It's now 2-1. And they're not finished. A little later in the game, a lot of young blood. It's also going to knock one into left. Brust hustles home, and we're tied at 2. So Kickapoo jumps back in front. They bring a 4-2 lead into the final inning. This RBI single is part of a 3-run 7th inning. Carthage enters its final at-bats down 7-2. The Tigers still rally, though. Youngblood again. This time, she goes the other way into right field. Get some traffic on the base paths. Still bottom of the 7th. Lexa Youngblood hits one sharply to left. That scores a run. Tigers push across 3 runs in the 7th, but it's not enough. Kickapoo wins it 7-5, the final score. Busy day of softball throughout the rest of the COC. Webb City wins big. The Cardinals improved to 8-1 on the season with a 12-2 victory over Lebanon. That game goes just 6 innings. Joplin High School softball also won yesterday. Eagles beat Glendale 5-2. They face Carl Junction tonight. A couple more games of note over in the Big 8 Conference. McDonald County picks up its 2nd win of the season. The Mustangs beat Seneca 12-4 at home. Monette got its first win last night. The Cubs score 11 runs in a home victory over Aurora. Their next game is on Thursday on the road at Nevada. Missouri Southern Athletics announced yesterday it has a new Hall of Fame class that will get inducted next month, which includes 2 student athletes and 2 teams. Here's a look at the Lions Athletics 2024 Hall of Fame class. It includes Larry Barnes, a Lion running back on the football team in the late 70s, who holds several program records, including average yards per rush and most career touchdown catches by a running back. Arlie Smith, a 5-time MIAA champion in multiple track and field events. The 2009 women's cross-country team, who won their 4th consecutive MIAA championship and took 3rd at the national championships that year, along with the 1974-75 women's basketball team, which was the first MSSU women's athletic team. Still to come, a new report found the U.S. is facing an ongoing maternity health crisis. Plus, have another look at that forecast, talk about Francine and whether or not we'll see any rain when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 5:17 now on this Wednesday morning. We're starting with a live look from our camera downtown Pittsburgh. Looking pretty good this morning as we get our day underway. We've got clear skies. We have some patchy fog around the Grand Lake area, so if you are traveling down, especially through Delaware County and around the Grove area, make sure you're prepared for that. Otherwise, we've got clear skies. 7th and Rangeline camera showing us the same thing. MoDOT camera, 20th and Rangeline. See, I told you they'd have it solved before the morning rush started on that traffic light there at 17th Street. It's back up and running. We're looking good so far, and same from the KDOT camera, 69 in Kansas Crossing. Of course, that's just south of Pittsburgh. So let's talk about a few things, and I want to show you something kind of neat that you may not always get to see, and it kind of gives you an idea as to what we look at here and what we have to take into account when it comes to the weather. All right, today we are looking at clouds gradually increasing very slowly through the afternoon into the evening, so still mostly clear skies. Now see, Future Track here is painting a few showers later today. That is absolutely not going to be the case. This Future Track thinks it's going to be the case, but it will not. Now, as we go overnight and towards sunrise, clouds continue to increase as Francine creeps up from the east, and from the south to our east. And then this Future Track, and this is where it's kind of neat. There's 2 different layers of precipitation here. One of them only goes out a couple of days. The other one, that's another layer on here, and I'm not going to get in all to the technical details, but there's another one that goes a few days further, and you're going to see what happens. So you see on Thursday, one version is painting a few additional showers out there Thursday from Hurricane Francine as it churns up into Mexico or into Arkansas. But do you see how quickly that disappeared? That was layer 1. Layer 2 is not showing any rain whatsoever. In fact, it even has skies clearing as we go into Friday. That's what we're looking at. That's why we have to look at a lot of data, a lot of information to take in, and all of it's still based on whether or not Francine turns back to the northwest a little bit or maintains a more northeasterly track, and that'll determine whether or not we get anything beneficial from Francine. So how's Francine doing? Right now, winds are at 90 miles an hour. Category 1, still expected to make Category 2 status right before it makes landfall. You may remember yesterday, the path had it a little further to the west. Now it's a little further east, coming right through Jackson and toward Memphis. And the cone of uncertainty, not nearly as broad as it was yesterday either, but putting it also slower. This is Friday at 1 o'clock, well off to our south and east. So we'll see exactly what we get out of Francine as it continues to lift in, make landfall, and eventually lift north. But you can see how much further southeast now and how much more narrow that cone is, where yesterday that uncertainty zone was from Springfield to Nashville as we went into Friday. Now it's not so uncertain. So again, the longer range future track here showing Francine staying off to our east, maybe clipping a couple of our eastern counties, possibly with some isolated showers. And I think that's what's going to be the case as we go in through Thursday and Friday. I think the majority of us, unfortunately, will remain dry, even though we need the rain. And there might be an isolated shower or two in the far eastern fringes of our area. The other thing we've got to contend with is the smoke from those wildfires around the Great Basin, and that will continue to give us hazy skies through today, tonight, and into our Thursday as well out there. So that's something else that we're going to have to be dealing with as we go through the next couple of days. So not quite clear skies, but some hazy skies out there. We're still expected to go mostly cloudy tomorrow, and that'll cool us back a little closer to normal Thursday and Friday. Highs today, though, right around 90, so well above normal. And we're going to stay above normal for most of next week, and we start to see a few more chances for some isolated to widely scattered showers and pop-up storms as we kick off the next work week. Let's check your forecast. We are back with more right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning. A new report found the U.S. is facing an ongoing maternity health crisis. Now, the report was released Tuesday by the infant and maternal health nonprofit March of Dimes. It found 1 out of every 3 counties does not have a single obstetric clinician, affecting women's access to care. And in many parts of the country, prenatal and delivery doctors are leaving the workforce. Now, some hospitals are also closing their labor and delivery units due to staff shortages and fewer births. To improve access to maternity care in the U.S., the March of Dimes has called for expanded training opportunities to encourage more midwives to join the healthcare workforce. It also called for investments in telehealth to reach more patients. Well, a weight loss drug is showing promise to treat childhood obesity. In a late-stage trial, children who used the weight loss drug called liraglutide lost significantly more weight than children on a placebo. Now, the study published in the New England Journal of Medicine looked at the effects of the drug on children between the ages of 6 and 12 with a high body mass index. Out of 82 children, 56 received the drug injection once a day. The rest got a placebo. Now, all participants received diet and exercise counseling, and at the end of the trial, those on the drug had a BMI more than 7 percentage points lower than their counterparts. The FDA first approved the drug in 2014 to help adults lose weight. In 2020, the approval was extended to children ages 12 to 17 years old. When it comes to tobacco use and youth, there's good news and bad. Recently released survey data shows e-cigarette use has declined in this age group, but there's a growing concern for other forms of nicotine that's seeing rising sales. Mandy Gaither has more on the concern and what parents can do to help children avoid tobacco.
It's a highly addictive substance that's especially dangerous to young people. Nicotine can be found in all tobacco products.
But it can also harm the developing adolescent brain and also prime the brain for addiction to other drugs. And so it's critically important that youth aren't exposed to these products.
Data from a newly released survey shows a nearly 25% drop in students reporting e-cigarette use the past year. That's about 500,000 fewer youth using the devices, bringing the rate down to the lowest it's been in a decade.
We still have 1.6 million kids who are using these products, but it's still a very important win.
But there's a growing concern about nicotine pouches, which are small and dissolvable and placed between the lip and gum. Experts say sales have been rising since 2016.
We're going to continue to monitor use and also do everything we can to make sure that we do not see any further rises with regard to these products in future years.
To help prevent tobacco use, the American Lung Association says parents should talk to children about the health dangers and the unpleasant physical aspects like bad breath, discolored teeth, and nails. Give them clear, consistent messages about the risks, making them aware of all the products this includes, and set a good example by not smoking or using tobacco in any form. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The American Lung Association says that if you catch a teen using tobacco products, to avoid making threats and ultimatums. Instead, the organization says to find out why your child has chosen to smoke or vape. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we've got another cool start out there this morning. We'll have another look at your forecast when we come back.
Right now at 5:30, Joplin city officials finalized plans to revitalize Ewart Park.
And we're a bit warmer this morning than where we were yesterday, but still a little bit of a cool start out there. A hotter day in store for us. The latest on that forecast coming up.
Plus, the Webb City Public Library is teaching residents about making healthier food choices.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:30. I'm Elise Noe.
I'm Chris Warner. It is Wednesday. We're making it. We're halfway through this work week. And it's the first full work week of September.
Yes.
Because we had Labor Day last week, of course.
Sure,
so,
yeah.
made for a shorter week for everybody. Hopefully, everything going all right so far?
You know, I've been enjoying the weather so far and, just ready for fall.
I know a lot of folks are probably very ready for fall. We still
Yeah.
got a little bit before we get there. And since it is still technically summer, we are going to be reminded of that over the next several days as well. Let's start with a look outside from our camera in downtown Pittsburgh. And we've got clear skies out there for now. We'll have a few clouds later this afternoon, but nothing too crazy. We'll take a look also from our camera at 7th and Range Line in Joplin. We're looking pretty good, looking back roughly to the north and west. And then we'll head down south to the MoDOT camera at 20th and Range Line, looking back to the north. Folks getting their day underway and things looking pretty good so far as well. We also have some patchy fog out there right around the Grand Lake area, and that's been the case really the last few days. It's been really confined to that zone. But if you are traveling around Grove or on 60, 69, parts of I-44, just do keep in mind, you might want to slow down, be prepared for some patchy, dense fog here and there. The rest of us, though, looking pretty good visibility-wise out there. Future track heading into the afternoon is going to show us a few clouds out there. Now, the future track also showing some spotty showers, but I do not believe we are going to see any showers today. Just a few clouds here and there as Francine continues to lift to the north, and it'll be off to our east, but will be at least giving us some clouds and maybe some briefly cooler temperatures as well. 67 in Joplin, 55 in Pittsburgh this morning, and across the area, a mixed bag of temperatures really. We've got low, mid, upper 50s, and then low, mid, and upper 60s, so we've got almost a 20-degree range of temperatures across the region as warmer weather continues to work in. Quick look at that bus stop forecast. We're looking at low 60s, sunny skies, southeast breeze 5 to 10 when the bus picks them up. When it brings them back, though, a little warmer today, about 88, and a few clouds out there, and that's how we're going to be heading into the afternoon. A few clouds here and there. Temperatures above normal, should be the mid-80s, and we're looking to go right around 90 degrees today for most of us. We're going to cool down briefly thanks to Francine. We'll talk about Francine, whether or not we'll see any rain out of her, and what happens after that in just a few more minutes. Elise?
Chris, thanks. Well, the city of Joplin has plans to bring a state-of-the-art facelift to Ewart Park. City leaders received feedback from neighborhood stakeholders on information gathered in the park's master plan. Meanwhile, members of the homeless community say revitalization is fine, but don't forget about them. KOAM's Lonnie Walton has more.
2 other males got into it, and one of them brandished a machete and the other one pulled out a katana, and then that's when I was like, okay, I'm leaving.
Tom Walters says an upgrade for Ewart Park is great, but the safety of the park needs one too. He says homelessness needs to be taken care of right away.
And the homeless people that are here are mostly homeless people that are not don't want to go to the shelter, because at the shelter they have to follow a certain rules or guidelines.
Felipe, a once homeless resident at Ewart's Park, says the homeless people here are his family and wants the city to take care of them.
So how do I feel about revandalizing the park? If it benefits them as well, yeah. Not just for the community, or whether the community is donating money or whether they're being taxed.
Meanwhile, the city says residents want a change, and that's what they're doing.
The idea is to put some more security into the park, meaning we're going to have lit areas that make it safer at night. We're also implementing security cameras throughout the whole park.
if they expect the homeless people to go somewhere else, they're going to have to build a facility to house them.
The city says everything from a new splash park, a new play area, shade structure, and more will be featured in the new makeup. Reporting in Joplin, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
The revitalization is set to be completed in early 2026. Officials are still receiving feedback from the public about how to make the park more family-friendly. Mercy announces it will end its contracts with Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield in Missouri on January 1st. This will impact all commercial, Medicare Advantage, and other plans. Until then, Mercy will stay in network with Anthem. Mercy Pharmacy Services, however, will continue for Anthem patients. Mercy officials say they encourage patients to share their concerns with Anthem by calling the number on the back of their insurance cards. KCU Joplin yesterday hosted its Score One for Health screening. It's a chance for fifth graders from Cecil Floyd, Jefferson, and Royal Heights Elementary schools to visit the KCU Joplin campus and get a health screening. Second-year medical students supervised by physicians and nurses provided the health assessments, including blood pressure and physical checks.
This is an environment where the kids obviously are feeling good, or they wouldn't be here. So a well child exam is an important thing for a child to experience. It gives them confidence encountering the healthcare system, someone in a white lab coat.
The health screenings were provided free of charge. Well, the Webb City Public Library is teaching people how to make healthier choices when it comes to food. Yesterday, they hosted a healthy eating workshop, the first of 5. This one focused on changing to healthy habits. Now, each workshop will also feature a certain healthy dish for people to learn. Yesterday, that dish was fruit salad.
It gives the community a great opportunity to learn different healthy things. I started about a year ago. There's a lot I've learned. There's a lot I'm trying to put into practice with grocery prices going up, meal planning and making lists and being prepared and seeing what's out there, is going to help during this time as prices have gone up.
The library will host a workshop every Tuesday through October 8th from 11 a.m. to noon. The next week focuses on food safety and will teach people how to make a chicken, broccoli, and cheese skillet. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Tropical storm Francine slammed Mexico's Gulf Coast, causing flooding and high winds. Plus, Afghanistan service members killed at Abbey Gate were honored with congressional gold medals. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Well, topping World Watch, Pope Francis wraps up his visit to the Southeast Asian nation of East Timor. An estimated 600,000 people, nearly half of the country's population, descended on a seaside park in Dili yesterday for the pontiff's final mass. Francis remained at the site into the night to greet his flock while riding around on the Pope Mobile. Now, the masses cheered and waved flags as he bid farewell. Pope Francis's trip to East Timor is the first papal visit since the country became an independent nation in 2002. Today, he will travel to Singapore on the last leg of his 12-day visit to Asia. Well, Tropical Storm Francine coasts through Mexico yesterday. The storm causing flooding and high winds in the city of Matamoros on Mexico's Gulf Coast. Now, the National Hurricane Center says maximum sustained winds hit 65 miles per hour. The storm system is now making its way toward Louisiana. Francine is the 6th named storm of the Atlantic hurricane season so far. Lebanon's state-run news agency says 6 people were hurt yesterday due to an Israeli airstrike in a southern Lebanese city of Natibah. The city has been targeted several times recently. A member of parliament says the building houses civilians and there is no military presence there. Now, more than 500 people have been killed by Israeli strikes in Lebanon since the start of the Israel-Hamas war, including more than 100 civilians. In northern Israel, 23 soldiers and more than 25 civilians have been killed by Lebanese strikes. Well, the chaotic U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan could be a topic in the presidential debate. Yesterday, the American service members who lost their lives during this action were honored in a ceremony organized by House Republicans. Jillian Turner has the details.
A big part of us died with our children on August 26, 2021.
13 U.S. service members slain in an ISIS-K terrorist attack at Kabul airport in 2021 were posthumously honored with congressional gold medals today.
As Gold Star parents, our grief never truly ends. It changes, it transforms, but remains with us always.
3 years after making the ultimate sacrifice while helping frantic civilians flee the Taliban during the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan, service members' loved ones accepted awards on their behalf.
We are sorry. The United States government should have done everything to protect our troops.
One father telling Fox News the House Speaker's words resonated especially deeply.
Very much appreciated. When Speaker Johnson said, "I'm sorry," I think all of us parents, I know that on the side that I was sitting at, you could just see the relief.
This after House Foreign Affairs Committee Republicans released a report finding, quote, the administration misled and in some instances directly lied to the American people at every stage of the withdrawal. Committee Democrats objected to the GOP characterization, but today at the nation's capital, the mourning was bipartisan.
These 13 Americans were sons and daughters. Some were even younger than the war in Afghanistan itself.
Today's ceremony comes just ahead of the 23rd anniversary of another American tragedy, 9/11. Chairman McCall, meanwhile, is vowing to continue forward with his investigation.
And that's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 545 on this Wednesday morning. Starting with a live look from our camera downtown Pittsburgh. We're looking pretty good so far this morning. We've got clear skies and we are warmer out there. Our camera 7th and range line also looking pretty good this morning, as is the MoDOT camera 20th and range line looking back to the north as folks get their Wednesday underway. And we're looking good from the KDOT camera 69 Kansas crossing just south of Pittsburgh. Future track for today, as we mentioned earlier, if you're just joining us though, it is showing some shower activity out there today. We are not going to see any shower activity today. We're going to see, though, a few extra clouds out there as Francine makes landfall later today and starts moving up to the north. We'll start to see clouds increasing towards sunrise. We could see an isolated shower or two on Thursday from Francine, but in all honesty, at this point, the overall odds of rain from Francine are extraordinarily low. And the reason is because Francine itself is expected to take a much further easterly track away from us. You may recall with the cone of uncertainty yesterday how broad it was. We'll talk about that in just a moment. So expected to make landfall potentially as a Category 2 hurricane a little later today. As we go into Thursday, you can see what will be left of subtropical storm Francine will be north of Jackson by Thursday afternoon, which is also why, even though we could get the clouds off of Francine, we're not expecting much rain. And by Friday at 1, center of circulation right to the west of Memphis. And remember, this cone yesterday was from Springfield to Nashville. It's a lot more certain as to where it's going to end up. Now, if it does at any point end a little further west, we could get a few additional showers as we head into our Friday. But as you can see on the long-range future track, other than the cloud cover off of Francine, we're not expecting that much as what's left of it continues to lift toward the north towards St. Louis. So the better precipitation chances off to our east. We're also going to contend with the haze. You've probably noticed it across the area. Excuse me. And we're going to continue to see it. It's all that smoke from the wildfires out west continuing to just hang around the area, giving us that hazy look to the sky, not necessarily completely clear skies. But as we go into Thursday, it'll be a little less noticeable as we start to get a little cloudier out there. Right now in Joplin, much warmer, 67, south-southeast breeze at 7. Dew point humidity also a little higher. The air a little moister than it was yesterday. very dry air yesterday. Our temperatures ranging from the mid to upper 50s into the low to mid to upper 60s across the region. And so that's put many of us anywhere from 10 to almost 15 degrees warmer now than we were 24 hours ago at the same time. So again, much warmer today. We mentioned that was going to be the case, and that's going to be the case, and that is the case. Sunny skies through the morning, mid 60s by 8 and low 80s by 11 o'clock. We're warming up a little faster because we're going to be a little warmer today. Average highs into the mid 80s, and we're looking at going about 90 for most of us. Some of you, though, could even make 91, 92 out there. And once we get into the afternoon, we'll start to see a few clouds here and there. As we go into the evening hours, again, we'll be initially mostly clear, so a few clouds. And we'll start to see a few more of those. Go partly cloudy late this evening. I forgot to change that. That should say partly cloudy. But we're going to be partly cloudy tonight. Low 60s out there once again. And then clouds increasing towards sunrise on Thursday. Mostly cloudy. Maybe an isolated shower, but the chance is less than 10% at this point. But we do fall back a little closer to normal Thursday and Friday, thanks to Francine. However, as Francine rolls on off to the north, we start to clear out, and we're going to go back above average, upper 80s to right around 90 degrees. And we'll see a few scattered thunderstorm chances as we kick off the next work week. And we might see some slightly better rain chances by next weekend, so something we'll watch because we do need some rain here in the 4 states. Let's check your forecast. We'll be back with more of the KOAM morning news right after this.
Well, a shocking moment as a lightning-laden thunderstorm rolling straight through an out-of-control wildfire is captured on camera. Jerry Roth has today's. Take a look at this.
The perfect storm. It's the only way to describe this chaotic collision of a fierce thunderstorm and a raging wildfire caught on camera in California. Larissa Gonzalez captured the moment along with video of the storm moving right through the towering line fire, which officials are struggling to contain and which has forced thousands to evacuate. Aside from the threat of incoming weather systems, experts say intense wildfires can sometimes create their own severe weather. As the combo of intense heat and enormous smoke plumes climb into the sky, it can create pyrocumulus, or so-called fire clouds, that, if fueled with enough heat, can generate their own rain and lightning. Another shocking lightning-related story, this one in historic Rome, where government officials say a lightning strike hit the ancient Arch of Constantine, knocking a chunk of stone from the storied structure. Eyewitnesses told news agencies they heard the strike and saw the debris fall while seeking shelter from the sudden intense storm. Officials were able to collect and protect the fallen fragments and are now assessing the damage, which happens to coincide with an already underway renovation of the 1,700-year-old Roman landmark. Okay, how's about we finish today with a little love from up above? And who doesn't love hot air balloons, am I right? This stunning time-lapse captured the kickoff for the weekend-long Great Reno Balloon Race, which kept eyes on the skies over Nevada. More than 150,000 people flocked to the annual event, which is basically the Lollapalooza of hot air balloons. Maybe we should just call it Lottaballoonza. I'm gonna get that trademarked. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Certainly some fun hot air balloons there. We'll stick around. We'll be right back. Well, if you're ready for Turkey Day, Santa, and the New Year's holiday, Google Flights says booking time is coming up. Google Flights says prices regularly change, but for domestic, it's best to start in early October. And flights are cheapest 45 days before you want to fly for Thanksgiving. For Christmas, snag your reservation 58 days before the flight in late October. Now, international flights are good for 50 days ahead of travel. As for days of the week, fly on a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. Well, a fan favorite item returns to Chipotle menus. The fast food chain is offering smoked brisket as a meat option at some locations for a limited time. Participating restaurants will offer small batches of brisket throughout the day. Chipotle says the limited time item was highly requested by fans because of the combination of the smoked meat and the brisket sauce. To celebrate the return of smoked brisket, customers can order the special meat option online to get a $0 delivery fee starting tomorrow through September 29th.
It's always nice to have a $0 delivery fee. It's sometimes nice to have the food come to you. You know, growing up, it was great to go to McDonald's. Sometimes, you know, now you're older, it's nice to have McDonald's come to you, you know? Sometimes you don't feel like getting out. It's nice that something other than pizza can be brought to you is what I'm getting at here. And it's going to be a good day to maybe have something brought to you. That way you don't have to get out in the heat. It's going to be a little warmer. Mid-60s by 8, low 80s by 11 o'clock. Sunny skies, clouds slowly increasing as we head into the afternoon. So mostly clear skies, but temperatures above normal as we go right about 90 degrees out there. Clouds will increase again through the overnight hours as well. We'll start to go partly cloudy late evening and overnight, falling back into the low to mid-60s across the area. Then we got Francine, which unfortunately is expected to rain far enough to our east that the best we'll get are some clouds and at least some cooler temperatures. A little closer to average tomorrow and Friday. And after that clears out, we'll start to heat back up as we head into the upcoming weekend, back to 90 by Sunday. Could see some isolated pop-up showers and storms Monday through Thursday. Long-range data does suggest we might see some more meaningful rainfall as we head into next weekend, so something to keep an eye on out there. That's checking your forecast. We're back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.